My story needs pizzazz, David.
Pizzazz, Donald?
Pizzazz, David. It needs some oomph, some spunk, some moxie, some grit, some big and bold element of intensity to elevate it into the stratosphere.
Yes, it does, Donald. I think I know just what your story needs in order to acquire such elevation. Your story needs space.
We need space?
No, not space. Space! Do you ever want your stories to be truly out of this world? Do you want to literally elevate your stories into the stratosphere and beyond? Then try out this fancy new element to put into your stories to give them that cosmic canoodling that all stellar works strive for. Try space! Every story is improved by adding space!
Wow, space? What does space do for my stories exactly?
What doesn't space do exactly? Have a novel that's historical fiction? Turn it into a space historical fiction. Have a romantic subplot in your work? Turn it into a space romantic subplot. Every element of every story can definitely be improved simply by adding space.
Wow, it seems like space can do anything. Just one question. What is space?
What is space? Oh, Donald, don't be silly. It's space!
Oh, I get it now. It's space!
Space!
Holy crap, that was so much space!
Yes, Donald. So much space! Space!
Ah, too much space! Too much space! I think I need some space from space!
Try out space today. Turn your simple Earth story into a space story. Space!
Wow, that word has no meaning to me anymore.
Space!
Welcome, fellow nerds, to another episode of The Ritwits, the show that would definitely start writing their next draft if they weren't so busy playing video games. They're not going to play themselves, we got to play them.
Yeah, I mean, come on, all these times. But hey, games are great.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yes, especially the ones that, I like, and the ones that you like are all trash. But that's
Hey! but what about if the ones that I like are also some of the ones that you like? You would just make you like trash?
Yeah, I get no. There was a server I'm on Discord that has this picture somebody puts up every time somebody's like bringing up opinion-based things, and it says, "All the best, my faves. Absolute worst, your faves."
I've seen stuff like Steve like that. And speaking of our stuff versus your stuff,
my stuff
versus your stuff.
All right, fair enough. Well, we the Ritwit have writ.
All right. Well, I have some big news.
Right. Do you need a drum roll, or are we good?
No, please, God, no.
Not
My throat
yet.
can't handle it.
It's a drum roll. Come on.
Don't say it. It's already too hard. I've talked with my publicity team, and we've decided on a date. She's a lovely girl.
I knew you were going to do it.
My book Testonauts will officially be released on August 16th, 2022.
Very, very good news indeed.
Yay! This will be following a big promotional campaign, including interviews on television and podcasts and what have you.
Yeah, fair enough.
When
you say podcasts, are they like getting you personally on other podcasts?
Yeah, be like, hey, you guys should check. I like your podcast, and I've totally listened to. Wink, wink, wink.
Yeah, it's a social contract. Yeah, I totally listen to every episode except mine. Opposite day. That said,
Yes.
But you're actually like going to go on and promote yourself,
Yes,
rather
yes.
than them just like giving them a script to say, "Hey, check out the new book, Tesla Now, it's coming out soon." Kind
Yep, I'm super duper excited and can't wait to get started and update all of y'all as the months go on.
All of y'all, redundancy.
All of you all as the months go on.
Department of
y'all,
Redundancy
you
Department.
all. Yeah, exactly. What about you? What have you read?
All right. Well, I mentioned last time that I was working on a show, and from Japanese translating him into English. Now, it is not a complete one-man project. There's somebody who's commissioning me to do this. They take care of, like, it's called timing, where they kind of set, oh, this is where the subtitles should display based on when the audio is happening.
Right, makes sense.
And I fit my translations into that. I do a little bit of, like, fixing timing things if I see them, and then I send it back so it can be edited. Well, my subtitles are officially out in the world now. Yay!
Yeah,
I'm not sure
I'd
how to
say
feel
so.
about this. I've even witnessed some people talking like they want to watch it as the show is released, so that adds like a little bit of pressure to me. That said, it's not really all on me, because once I translate it, it's kind of out of my hands and it comes out when it comes out, and I'm in no control over that, right? But so far, I've actually had like none of the blowback from any decisions that I've made in the translation stuff.
Well, that's good. You must be pretty good at your translation stuff.
Now, saying that, I haven't actually compared the final release to the script that I sent off, so maybe there are changes that I'm as yet unaware of.
Right.
But besides that, taking far too much time for each single half-hour episode.
Speaking of far too much time, what about tonight recording? Am I right? But it's my own fault. I know it's my own fault. Stop bothering me. Stop attacking me. Sorry, go on.
I'm staying respectfully silent.
Oh, thank you, because I'm sure inside you're raging. So thank you.
The more you know.
So keep your respectful silence.
About that, maybe. No. Anyway. So, literally, to do like a 24-minute episode, there are roughly 300, sometimes 350, it varies on the episode, of course,
Yes.
lines to translate. It takes me over 2.5 hours for pretty much every single episode I've done thus far.
That's
For
ridiculous.
a half hour.
I can see that. Like for like Paleo Bites, each episode's like 20 minutes or something like that. But like with the amount of editing I have to do, so it probably takes me a couple hours to edit each one. But
right, but that's the editing thing. That's not literally just taking the piece and turning it into another language. Now, translation is not simple. It's not one-to-one in any case.
Well, you don't
that
just
I'm
go to
aware
like,
of.
Google Translate, boom, all right, work's done.
I don't want to do that.
No, I know
that's
you
silly.
don't. No, I know.
But I'm literally getting compensated for it, so I put my best work forward. But
That's nice. What a good work ethic.
But to do that, it takes a lot of time, and unfortunately, I haven't been creating a ton of late. Beyond that, obviously that's still being creative, and it's literally trying to interpret another language in my own. And, the fact that I haven't been creating, despite doing all of this, I haven't really, been working on my own writing stuff, and that kind of makes me sad,
Well, you're balancing your life. You're balancing all your other stuff. You're balancing your job. So to get all that super balanced and right, you have to be overly powerful, wouldn't you say?
It wasn't done.
All right, come on. I was really proud of that one.
You are amazing for doing that segue, but I really wish I was done so you could have actually done it.
All right, watch. It'll be flawless here.
Yeah, sure.
I'll have another opportunity.
Now,
here. Just
I've proven that I can indeed create, and as long as I choose to do, look at Nano.
Yeah.
Now, I won't say it's quality, but I do, which means that I must prioritize in a way that allows for more creative writing. Darn life and wanting a relevant to my experiences job.
Well, if you had a relevant job and a good
it's pretty
one,
egregious.
It's very egregious. And speaking of the most egregious faults of these, I'm tired. I had a really good segue and you ruined them. Well, no, I ruined it by saying it too early.
You ruined the flow by doing
saying
it
it too early. I wasn't paying attention to your notes. I just like, oh wait, I've got one. I'm gonna jump in, and then I jumped into traffic and got hit by a truck.
That's a pretty egregious flaw of yours. But speaking of egregious flaws,
here you are with you. What about egregious faults? I'm very interested.
The most egregious fault of these types of characters, the self-inserts that we're talking about, because we're back in again, that we're saying aren't Sues, but are kind of Sues, but aren't technically Sues because the entire term is involved past its intended use.
Yes.
They're too powerful. That's the short version.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, most fictional characters are powerful in some way or another, whether superhuman abilities, what have you.
That's one thing I kind of think is really funny when people say, "Oh, the superhero genre will die down one of these days." This whole fad. It's like, really every action movie is a superhero movie in a way.
In its own way.
It's like John McClane, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I like how I said one. I also like how I said a character name and then an actor.
Yes, that's
like
true.
all these.
Bruce Willis retired recently. I'm so sad.
I know, well, it's because he had a disease.
Yeah, no,
so
I understand. I'm not saying he didn't have a good reason for it, but just like
it is sad. But to be fair, the last 5 years, he's been doing nothing. Like he's been doing so much direct-to-video movies.
Well, and he's been collecting major paychecks for little amount of work. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway.
Well, and also to be fair, a lot of people made fun of him for it, but like, was it because he actually had this disease and wasn't being public with it? So
yeah. All right, but to get going on the questions here, small disclaimer. If you could not tell, we are severely after dark. We are severely after bedtime for both of us, too. So, apologies.
But thankfully, even though I have a somewhat good work ethic where I was, like, complaining to my dad, really, like, I've got so much done today, but I know if I delay it any further, I won't get it done in time, so I gotta do it today. And Dad's like, I like your work ethic. And then I'm like, well, thank you. And so, like, I come to tonight being like, Matt, I swear to God, we're going to record all 4 of them tonight. Mark my words. Then we're already we just barely did 2, and I'm like, I'm tired. Let's stop. But we're powering through because
so professional.
As much as my work ethic can flounder under the tiniest pressure, Matt Davis is as solid as a rock, and like that's why we compliment each other.
I tell you, I've always been the kind of guy who's like, we have to try being more professional, and usually I'm the bastion of that. Now, obviously, I'm tooting my own horn. I have my faults, but
well, and also you're not the one who has to edit this and like upload this and like. True. Like all this other stuff, and like pay for the host, but yeah,
pay for the coast.
Pay for the host.
Oh,
pay for the coast.
I was about to say, why are you
I'm
paying
buying
for
the entire
a coast?
Eastern Seaboard. I got drunk one day and like just like.
And this is what happens when we get after bedtime. It's like he's drunk right now, and he hasn't even been drinking alcohol. Anyways,
I could use some alcohol, but it'd make me too tired. All right, so
obviously, they do things. The characters that are powerful do things beyond what the average layman could possibly do in their day-to-day lives. Mm-hmm. They take way too much damage. And have bodies beyond what's practical outside of, Hollywood standards, where everybody is eminently, I won't say that word on the podcastable. If that's the case, how does one define their character being too powerful?
If they can do things like they can do a bunch of things better than the other characters who have all the reason to be more adept at them at those specific things, there's a problem. If they can do feats beyond what's expected of them without any training or preparation, then that's a problem.
I wonder if we're going to talk about that particular character today.
If they're so good at these things, have no background explanation on what would make sense for it, and what's more, don't have that many faults or weaknesses to compensate, that's a huge problem.
Ooh, I'm sensing something in the Force.
This is my main problem with my favorite character example of this as of late, and that is obviously... I'm so tired I can't even think of a joke answer. It's Rey from The Force Awakens. I was going to be like, well, it's going to be like Captain Marvel.
It's a ray of light.
Yeah.
Anyway,
let me be clear that Rey is the only character lately that truly deserves the title of Mary Sue. Everyone else is like, all these people are like, Wonder Woman's a Mary Sue, Captain Marvel's a Mary Sue, Black Panther's a Mary Sue, and like, I'm sensing a theme here.
The biggest thing is that Captain Marvel is probably more like a Deus Ex Machina.
Right, but even then, like, she has a reason for her powers, and she also has faults, and she also has like other stuff, and
she has the major fault of never showing up until it's dire, and then it's just over.
Yeah, but even then, like, she does, like, she still gets beaten, like, in Avengers Endgame, even though she gives Thanos a run for his money, he still beats her.
Yeah.
So, like, anyway, so, like, Rey, though, is just, like, there's not an explanation. There's no reason behind it. I mean, eventually they're like, but she's a Palpatine. I'm like, being the son or the daughter of
she'd be the son, yes, right.
Being the son or daughter of someone with with Force powers, that's never really been a thing in Star Wars. I mean, like, it has been, but it's not the reason for their...
Well, it doesn't necessarily guarantee they're more adept or not.
Yeah.
To wit, like, one of my favorite Star Wars series was the Young Jedi Knights set.
Right.
And obviously those are now in the Legends canon, but the kids of Han and Leia all become Jedi, like properly trained Jedi by their uncle, by the way.
Right.
But like, they don't show any more potential in the Force just because they are the children of Leia.
And Leia, like she...
Although Leia was obviously the lesser of the two twins in terms of, like, Force potential.
Right.
But them being now third-generation Jedi, you know, it's not like, oh, it gets better with each passing generation.
Right, exactly.
Rey should not really have that excuse, even if she is a Palpatine.
And the only thing that she has, like, an excuse for, it's like she's a really good mechanic, so she can fix stuff on the Millennium Falcon. The fact that she knows the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo, that's a bit much. But the fact that she can repair it all, that makes sense, because she's a scavenger and other stuff. Like,
she's able to figure things out, maybe quick-witted, but, like, quick-witted doesn't explain ability with these weapons that she's never used.
And she's also better. She flies it better than Han Solo ever did. Like,
well, I don't think Han was the best pilot ever. I think Chewie was a great wingman.
Well, right, that's true. But like in all this stuff, it's just like, it's just. And I think, to be fair, they were trying to say like there was some explanation for it. Like, I think after she finished flying it, and then Finn's like, "How'd you do that?" She's like, "I don't know," and I'm like,
oh, great, even better. Inexplicably did it.
Well, the thing with J.J. Abrams, that his stupid mystery box crap, it's like, I don't know the answers to these either, but sometimes the fun stuff is just the mystery box itself and not knowing the answer inside. In fact, the answer is so mysterious that I don't even know it. Shut up!
Ritwit, come for the advice, stay for the hot takes. I don't know if that one's a hot take.
Anyway, here's a hot take, though. Rey being a Mary Sue, the only example, racely, of a Mary Sue,
right.
of at least of official work.
Sure.
Official big work. It has nothing to do with anything political or feminist or whatever that people complain about. Like, I've heard people say, like, oh, she's a self-insert of Kathleen Kennedy because that's how she views herself.
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. But she totally decided to make sure that all of these were written and directed by the greatest talents and never once had to change them over.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's nothing to do with that. It's just the result of the movies in general being poorly written. So
Fair enough.
This is just the result of that. So, nothing more or less.
We've given him another excuse to rave about Rey. Yes, anyway.
You know, I dated someone briefly that who had a daughter whose middle name was Rey.
Spelled the same way, really?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
on purpose, which I think is kind of cool.
It works. All right, now, I believe that if the listing of the abilities takes longer than a single breath, you might have too many things in the list.
Let's see, they can fly, they can shoot lasers.
Yeah, but you're pausing between each one. It's like to get through all this, okay, he can fly his laser vision, you can see he can jump over walls, he got all these things and all these things and all these things.
He has freeze breath. He has freeze breath. He can see through everything except for lead.
And he's got...
And he can leap tall buildings in a single bound.
You caught on, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, if the character has no surface level Achilles heels, regardless of the power list, it will seem OP. Mm-hmm. All characters should have flaws, weaknesses, and for someone with powers, those are part and parcel of the experience.
You know what would be great for a weakness for this character that has laser vision and freeze breath? Also, how about a rock that isn't even native to the planet that he's on? I mean, it is from the planet he's
on. It's the planet he's from.
Yeah, so it's like that. What a weakness, man.
I mean, this is not a great reference, perhaps, because they obviously were not self-insert characters. Mm-hmm. But look at why Marvel Comics characters were received more positively than DC's. They were obviously flawed.
Right.
It doesn't need to be in what their abilities are, although, your only superpower being something otherwise gross does sound like a fun story idea.
Like the character of Barf.
Explosive snot bubbles.
Well, like what we said, the character of Barf. That was
you vomit and you can transmute the vomit into anything you need.
Yeah.
Your gas, when you have farts, your gas is powerful enough to, like, inflate a blimp.
I was going to say you fart and it rockets you forward. It's like, whee!
That's a little too on the nose, or maybe on the stink. But anyway.
On the asshole. Or from the asshole, anyway. So.
And firing from the... I'm now thinking of Spaceballs again, but I'll stop there.
Oh, speaking of barf.
No, I was because of the firing on the assholes comment.
I was like, how many assholes have we got on this ship anyway?
Yo! I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes.
I was about to say Spaceballs. Rick went after bedtime, people. All right. Anyway.
Yes.
Their personality
yes.
and method for problem solving could be a major flaw. Mm-hmm. And I think if they have that there, they still aren't really overpowered because they still have something to overcome despite all their abilities.
Well, it's like the reason like Superman is really difficult for people to write isn't just that he's got all these powers. It's that also he's a really good guy too. You have someone like Captain America, who's also a really good guy, but guess what? He's still just a guy. No, he's like the best guy.
A guy from Brooklyn.
I know,
I can do this all day.
But he, like, in terms of like his powers, he is literally the best guy, but still just the guy, like the best mortal.
Well, I mean, he was already super. He just wasn't the super soldier
Right.
of a thing.
Yeah, like, but he had a super personality.
Well, in many ways, arguably, yes.
But that's the thing. Like, he basically has the personality of Superman, but with like even when he's powered, he doesn't have the powers of Superman.
True.
So it makes it more interesting. So
yeah, I mean, the concept of One Punch Man is kind of fascinating, but like the execution of it, I don't know. But it seems like it'd be kind of boring eventually.
Well, that's the whole point of it. I've heard. Like if
you get a punch in, you win. That's it. So trying to find other ways to solve problems because it otherwise would be anticlimactic. I don't know. But this is, I think, now multiple times in the last, like, several sets we've mentioned One Punch Man. Moving on.
You've mentioned One Punch Man, but yeah.
This time, yes, you did before.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Okay, alright, well.
Now, what makes these kinds of inserts, to be grammatically correct, I apologize, the most egregiously bad? And yes, this is the second question in a row we've used egregiously because they are that bad.
Well, you like relatability? You like characters that stumble and fall but are inspiring because they keep getting back up? I could do this all day. Forget that bullcrap. How about instead you have a character who never struggles and always succeeds? They always succeed the first time. Isn't that great? You love that, right?
Totally.
Yeah, it sucks. That's what makes it bad. And well, also what makes it bad is it's narratively unsatisfying. Sure. No one cares of a character who always wins, keeps on winning. In order for there to be a victory to be satisfying, there has to be a defeat.
I mean, there's always rooting for the underdogs, and this is why. Because when you have really strong opponents, it's more fun to see them toppled than it is to continue seeing someone else lose trying to beat them.
Exactly. So it's just like that's the story structure as old as time. First act, character gets straight, gets powers. Second act,
straight.
Character gets. I was gonna say strength. First act, character gets strength. Second act, character gets beaten down. Third act, character gets back up.
Uses his strength in a new way.
Yeah, beats the bad guy. Anyways,
all right,
it's been the 3-act structure since the Epic of Gilgamesh. and
story in 3 acts and like 1,500 pages. All right, now, to reference the other things we talked about, forget being loved by everyone.
Yeah.
Forget being so thinly veiled versions of the author that idealize the person themselves.
Yes.
This kind of character is awful because they simply aren't human.
They're not human, are they? They're gods.
I am being very speciesist, and I apologize to aliens out there listening.
As long as they're not robots.
We do not trust robots in this house. Powered or not, they can't lose. Their abilities rescue them from everything, and they never struggle. But without struggle or pressure, what kind of world is it? We wouldn't have diamonds. We wouldn't discover true leadership. We wouldn't learn lessons from failure. A character that would be called broken or basically banned from gameplay by Power Set is like Strength's answer to the insufferable know-it-alls that people can't stand.
Exactly.
Hey, at least reflecting that accurately means that the overpowered person isn't also overloved.
Exactly. But here's one thing, like the character that I think that actually is overpowered in this way in terms of strength or whatever, it's not Superman, it's Batman. Batman is too good at too many things.
And the sad part is, he's not even like the only superhuman thing about him is his intellect. The fact that he has access to incredible resources that allow him to use his intellect to build these incredible things that can help him hold his own with literal gods and otherworldly beings.
The fact that he can stand toe to toe with the rest of the Justice League despite being a man is pretty impressive. But this is the fact that he's adept at everything. Like the fact that a man with 1,000 years of training
couldn't beat Batman if he had 2 hours.
With 0 prep training.
Well, I don't know about 0 prep. He's got all the experience from other fights.
Right.
But still, it's crazy. We need to find ways to balance them out, obviously. And what are some of those ways that a writer could add balance, a la gameplay mechanics, with regard to those powerhouses or otherwise broken characters?
Make them lose. Give them reasons for their strength and make it earned. Make them struggle. Make them work for it. Part of the problem with godly characters is that it doesn't feel earned. So if the readers feel like they've earned it, then it can be cathartic to see them have godly power, but then again, only at the end.
Well, and for what it's worth, a lot of those situations come up with, here's a character wielding godly power and it breaks them. Like,
Yes.
they win the battle, but they are irrevocably changed, and not usually for the better, by that.
They usually burp too much. I'm so tired. Keep going. Let's keep powering through it. Let's do it. This whole thing's a struggle, but we can do it. I believe in us. I believe in you. I don't believe in me, but I believe in you. You can finish this episode for us. You can let yourself out.
Okay. He's telling me
I'm gonna
finish it
go to
by
bed.
myself.
You let yourself out. No, shit. Go on. I'm drunk from tiredness. Go on.
They need a crucial weakness. There must be things they aren't proficient at, or it stops being realistic. There's some other struggle in their lives.
Yes.
With Batman, that is the case. He has a terrible love life because he has a hard time not being Batman. And there are very few women in the world who want to be with Batman, versus plenty who apparently want to be with Bruce Wayne, not knowing about all this.
Exactly.
Selena Kyle might be the one exception. Anyway, not everyone looks like a movie star. Not everyone is neurotypical. Most people hide things beneath the surface. So why shouldn't this character?
I'm talking about things I hide beneath the surface, right?
Well, I mean, this keg is ready for a party right here.
Yes. Oh, this is coming out of the surface here. Hold on. Okay. It's just... It is surfaced. Anyways, continue. Keep going.
Also consider dumbing down the power list.
Yes.
If they don't play a role somewhere in the narrative, it's just fluff. And while occasional fluff isn't bad, just ask my love handles, it's impossible to subsist on simply fluff.
I like how you consider your love handles occasional fluff. Like, it's supposed to just fluff all over.
Hey, to be fair, it's only on the sides that are the love handles, right?
That's
the
true.
Stuff in front isn't really
I mean,
called the love handle.
I mean, it is there. It is fluff, but it's not the love handle. So.
I mean, occasional fluff isn't bad, but a lot of fluff is not great. This is me joking that I'm fat and moving on.
I was gonna make a joke about that's
fine. Make your joke.
We need a fluffer. Anyways, moving on. This is
Fluffer?
I need a fluffer, man. I need help in the bedroom.
Okay.
Anyways, it made me think of that. After dark.
Sleeping with yourself. Yes, all right. Is there an antithesis to this OP, broken original character?
Yes.
Like having your character be too weak? Or is that not a bad thing?
I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, as long as the character doesn't stay that way, then I don't see a problem.
Being too weak?
Yeah.
Mean? Okay. Just
like, as long as the character doesn't stay being too weak, I don't see a problem. Or if they do, but they garner strength through other ways. If they're unskilled at everything, that's not really a good story. Although it's essentially what Forrest Gump is.
Run, Forrest, run!
He's just lucky. He
is in the right place at the right freaking time.
But he's never the one who
that
benefits
is
from
his
anything.
superpower.
He never benefits from anything. He like comes with an idea and is like, oh, okay, and then he creates.
He's not unlovable. I mean, I don't know. I guess when you construe weak, there are lots of different ways to do that. Are you thinking somebody who is literally a ball of
piss and vinegar? Like,
I was about to say a ball of flab. They've never worked out a day in their life. They're unappealing. They're not getting very with many people.
Oh wow! How'd you read my autobiography? Anyways,
they're not getting with many people. That they have no powers of their own, and it seems like there's no real reason to root for them because they've got a great smile.
I do have a great smile. You're right about that.
Speaking of reading your autobiography. Right?
Yeah. Buy it on Amazon.com. Except it doesn't exist.
Ding.
Yeah, that's like Donald, the man, the myth, the legend, the loser.
The legend in his own mind. All right. Well, I mean, again, I don't think... It depends on how you define weak. Weak as unpowered is not weak by itself.
Right.
Right? I suppose the direct opposite to an overpowered character would be unpowered, meek, not weak, meek, with plenty of room to grow. If that person is major to the narrative and never grows, then it's bad. Just like me almost losing my microphone is almost bad.
Right. Well, and I think the point with this is, and the reason why the same thing with it being too weak versus being too strong, there's no movement, and it's narratively unsatisfying to see a stagnant character.
Sure. I mean, weak in one way doesn't mean simply not strong. We all have situations we thrive in more than others. Mm-hmm. The inverse is also true. And this character, the quote-unquote weak one, is an example of that.
Yeah.
But being the one who has no superhuman anything on a team usually makes it feel strange. That's all I'm saying.
Just ask Batman.
Well, I mean, you could argue he has superhuman intellect.
That's true.
You could.
Just
I was more jabbing at Hawkeye and Black Widow here. But anyway, I don't think we have anything else to say.
You know, the Hawkeye's got good bows and Black Widow's got good buns. Anyways, that's it for this week.
I am not amazed you went there. But yeah, that's it for the week.
Alright.
I'll go ahead and do some of this to alleviate you of the pressure.
No, I'm afraid if I do that, I'll fall asleep. So.
Oh, okay.
So if I don't do it, so a huge thank you to all our patrons so far, including Jesse.
Thanks for all your support. Check out patreon.com/Matthew Donald for more information.
Exactly. You can contact us at mattd@matthewdonaldcreator.com for individual questions to either co-host, or please specify David or Donald.
Would be helpful. Episode ideas, comments, if you have vocab vitamins that you've used in your works. We did that last time, but I'm saying it here anyway.
Yes, please.
Please let us know. You can let us know if we can read your comments on the air. We both have other podcasts.
Yes.
Mine is called Nerds Are Us, and there's a link to our Discord server, mine and the other general manager, not Donald here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If you'd like to get in touch with the general managers of Nerds Are Us, please check it out. And you can listen to it on the same place you're listening to this podcast.
Exactly. And if you want to check out my other show, Paleo Bites, Libsyn.com/paleobite or paleos.libsyn.com. It's also on my website. It's also on my website, Matthew Donald Creator.
Check out Matthew Donald Creator, which is another place you can follow him. But if you want to follow him on social media, how?
Matthew Donald Creator on Facebook, Matthew Donald 64 on Twitter, and Matthew Donald 64 on Instagram. Why 64? Because that's how many push-ups I can do in one day, or 1 year, or 1 decade.
I'm calling your bluff.
Come to think of it, I don't think I've done 64 push-ups in my entire life.
What?
Yet, as of yet.
What? All right, we're fixing that. Drop and give me 5 right now. It'll wake you up.
You know what? It might. Hold on. All right, guys.
Ritwit after bedtime, folks. Stay for the physical fitness.
1.
Oh my goodness gracious.
2. 3. 4. 5.
He's dipping.
I did it.
And now he's that much closer to 64. We'll just have to do this every episode, and eventually you'll get way past it. And you might actually become more powerful, like these characters.
Okay,
I think we've twitted ourselves out about
that.
Yeah,
I think the 5 down, 61 to go.
61? Where's your math?
It's 59. I'm Matt Donald.
His math goes out the window. I'm Matt David. Keep on writing the good write, ridding the good writ, all that jazz. We'll see you next time with the last in our set about these terrible inserts.
Yeah.
Just like bad inserts for your shoes, the orthotics, man.
Yeah.
If you don't get them working right, boy, howdy, it sucks.
That was a good one. I really appreciated that joke.
Thank you.
Anyways, bye.
Because he wears orthotics. See you next time. The Ritwit.